What is up, watch friends? Welcome to Friday. Again, we made it. Yay. I say that every Friday, but hey, it's true. Hope everyone had a good week. Hope it wasn't too stressful, too hard, too difficult, and hope everyone has also a great week. Sorry, my cat's distracting me and I'm just a little fried today. But hope everyone has a good weekend as well. Today is a Q&A. For those of you who don't know or new subscribers, what this is it's a Q&A. I do it every Friday. If you want your question answered, just ask your question in the comments below and it'll be featured on one of my upcoming Q&As. Last couple of weeks, or last week, I had a lot of questions, man, so I did it in 2 days. So I want to try not to do that. I don't want my whole channel just to be a Q&A. I want to get to some real watch content as well. And all these people too who, say they love my channel and whatever, and then I'll do a Q&A and it doesn't get hardly any views. There's some content and some questions in those videos that might be useful for some of you guys, whatever. It's just because I don't have it tagged in the Rolex in the description line doesn't mean there's not anything about Rolex. I know that's what most people want to hear. Today I'm wearing my Zenith Pilot El Primero. Put it back on the regular strap, OEM strap. Awesome watch. First question comes from Gino816. Of the Holy Trinity, what is your favorite? If you could get one, which would you get? The Holy Trinity. Well, it wouldn't be AP, I can tell you that. So it's between Patek and Vacheron. Probably, gosh, there's so many Vacherons I really like. But I'd have to look at it as if I could only get one, and it would have to be my daily, everyday watch. And nothing else, not like a dress or not just sport, whatever. Something that just works with everything. I think I would get the Patek Aquanaut 51 with the 5165A. 38 millimeter Aquanaut, black dials. Oh my gosh. It's the Aquanaut, but not the jumbo. They have got some big Aquanauts out there, and that wouldn't be it. But I think that's more like, it's kind of like this, isn't it? It's more of a everyday. It's understated, and it's laid back. It's casual, and you can dress it up. No one's gonna get mad at you if you wear it with a tux. You know what I'm saying? And no one's gonna get pissed off if you wear it at the beach, right? Gino816, thank you for your question. Oh, okay. I got two from Gino. Sorry, man. Gino816. Here's your other question. What do you think about Omega as a whole? Whiskey piece is your favorite? Man, dude, I don't know if that's a typo or your autocorrect or whatever, but whiskey piece is your favorite with a question mark. And what do I think of the new white Speedy? Look, I'll show you see what that says. Whiskey piece is your favorite. Omega's cool, man. I've got nothing against Omega. It's like there's certain things that they've got way too many models, way too many reference numbers, way too many this and way too many that, and but I like a couple of their watches. I don't like all of them. I had the S&P 300 white dial. It was awesome. Do I like the new Speedy in white? Yeah, that's actually when that came out. I was going to do a video on it, but everyone jumped on it, and I'm like, it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't see it worth doing the whole video on it, but yeah, I like it. But would I buy one? Probably not. But it looks cool. Anyway, thanks for your questions, dude. I appreciate it. Next question comes from JJJFFFPPP. I have a question. Zodiac versus Tudor. Zodiac has unbelievable history, unique designs, in-house movement, Swiss made under $2,000, $2,000. Tudor, unbelievable history, in-house movement, Swiss made, arguably less unique designs, but has an undeniable connection to the undisputed king of wristwatches. But they start at just under 4K in a no-holds-barred death match. Who's walking out? That's like what? All right, let's start with Zodiac, since they came out before Tudor and before Rolex. They came out in like 1882. 1882 is when they came out, but by 1953 they got into making the Seawolf. This is called the Super Seawolf, and they made the Seawolf, which those became popular with Army veterans and sailors from like the Vietnam War. The thing is they're in the same historical sort of, I guess, presence of Rolex and Blancpain with the 50 fathoms, and it was like who came first. And here you have the Zodiac. So this was out at the same time, 1953, man. So those three were, competing with each other. I had one viewer, I brought this up before, and then one viewer said there's no way that ever Zodiac was competing with Rolex or vice versa. And it's like you kind of missed the point. Back in 1953, this is when 200 meter or 100 meter dive watches and whatever were coming out, and it very much was in competition. They were all in competition with each other. Which ones became more popular than others, that's a whole other story. But the bottom line is it was. And it is, I think, still to this day, not in competition with Rolex, obviously, or Blancpain. But you've got, a 200 meter COSC certified, that's a certified chronometer, in-house movement, STP 1-11, extremely accurate, extremely reliable. Again, 200 meters water resistance. This is a ceramic case cased over steel, and it's fun. It's a fun watch. Okay, let's go to Tudor. Started in 1926 by it was trademarked by I wrote it down. Vive de Philippe Hitler on behalf of Hans Wilsdorf. In 1936, Wilsdorf took over and in 1946 founded the company Montres Tudor SA. And so now I'll just take it over from here. In 1954, Tudor came out with their Submariner, and again, that was in itself a great watch. That but let's go with the whole no holes barred. See, when Zodiac came out, Zodiac I think has the edge with who they came out with, with when Rolex Submariner came out and when the Blancpain 50 fathoms came out. You've got the Tudor Pelagos, you've got the Black Bay 54, the Black Bay 58, you've got the Ranger, you've got all, and then the regular Black Bays. You've got the Tudor Royal. Essentially, they are a much more sought after. I say sought after. They're not really sought after, I guess, but they're a well-known brand, and they're more of a household name than Zodiac. Not a lot of people know who Zodiac is. Zodiac fell off, man. They just kind of disappeared, and then Fossil picked them up, and they're kind of struggling in a sense, which kind of sucks because they're really known for one watch, and that's the Super Seawolf. If it's a knockdown, no, I would say Zodiac won the first couple of rounds, but Tudor came along and just said, yeah, Coop, and sort of bitch slapped him into the corner. I think Tudor wins. Sorry, brother, if that was what you didn't want to hear. Thanks for that question. That was pretty fun. This one comes from Metagirl, and her and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to this. When did watch collecting become such a flex and brag fest? Is this the new watch collector from the pandemic? I don't recall anyone marketing a watch as an entry level, and I don't remember classifications for collectors, novice versus experienced. Do you? I guess it's a marketing strategy whereby these classifications and labels keep things falsely exclusive in order to appeal to the flex crowd. That's a good question, because yes, there is a big change in the watch community and how watch enthusiasts act and react. A lot of it is, yes, because of the pandemic. You got these YouTube channels that have shed light or brought light to the younger generation, and then keep in mind that it was the younger generation who did all the crypto stuff, and all of a sudden these younger kids came into money and started buying up these watches. Then you look at the YouTube channel like the Timepiece Gentleman, all that brought all this sort of like super hip flex to have money and bitchin' watches. The problem with that is it's like, I don't know, you can get a kid that has a Rolex or a Richard Mille or whatever watch, call it whatever, name it, and they're flexing it and they're being all da-da-da. But it's kind of like the young kid who just turns 21 and goes into a bar and goes, oh, I got a big fucking dick and I can fucking drink everyone under the table. 2 beers later, he's on the floor. Whereas the old veteran guy, is sitting there going, sit there all night, drink all freaking night long, get up and leave, and you'd never know if he was drunk or not. You know what I mean? or the kids that you see in Beverly Hills. You go to Beverly Hills and you see all these kids riding up and down Rodeo Drive in the Lambos and the Ferraris. It's because they're just trying to flex themselves. Then you got these YouTubers, the younger ones, that like to say words like novice or entry level to make it sound like they're above you. Well, I'm more sophisticated than you. And it's kind of like, and that's what I feel. I'm not saying that's awesome, all just truth, because it's sort of resonated throughout the community that, you know, entry level, right? So for instance, it's like these guys that are like, well, you know, I collect only vintage watches. Well, guess what? Vintage watches are a lot less expensive than modern watches. So what you're saying is you can't really afford, or you can't get on at the AD and get the watch you want. So a lot of them collect, you know, I wear this 1962 Hamilton piping rock because you know what I mean? And it's that whole, I don't know, there's that snobbish element to it, and it generally comes from the younger generation of people. As far as it goes, you and I both know some older people that had plenty of frickin' money who didn't wear anything but like a Swatch watch and drove a Subaru, you know, and these are people that could buy and sell anybody with all the that have all this money, you know. So I think it's kind of new. I think it kind of sucks, but again, that's where we're at in the world, you know. And a lot of it, like I say, has to do with YouTube channels and things like that. So, you know, it's one of those things, but I don't like it. I like the fact that the younger generation are getting into watches, though. That's what I like, and I just don't like the snobbery and the flex and the, yeah, you know, your fucking watch comes into the room before you do. You know, just letting you know. If you go over there, you'll see what, you know, that. I'm getting a little too animated. Thanks for your question. Joe Giz 64. Is that Giz or Giz? Giz or Joe Giz 64. Great show as always, Tony. Thank you. If I was going to drop 35 to 40K on a Grail watch, what are your thoughts on Ulysse Nardin Freak? What alternatives would you pick in that price point? Thanks for your question, dude. And that goes back to my last thing. Now, I'm not saying that you're one of those guys, but you know, something like the Freak would be more geared towards younger people. The Freak has no business being in my watch collection. I don't really like the watch at all. But again, I'm more old school. I prefer watches that I can tell the time by looking at it and not go, oh, what the hell, you know what I mean? So I don't like the Freak, man. But if it was going to be me, I'd spend less money and get a Breguet Type 20, you know, and simple as that. I don't know. But if you like the Freak, go out and get it, man, and I hope you enjoy it. But I think it's more of a novelty watch that, hi, Uku, do you want to lick my hand? Yes, of course you do. I think it's just more one of those watches. I'd get bored with it real fast. I'm bored with it, and I've only just seen it in pictures. But thanks for your question, man. This is from Bathroom Guy 614. Hi, Tony. I bought my first Rolex Datejust from an AD in 2023. Is it too much to ask for a gold Rolex day date for my second watch? Thank you. Not at all, dude. No, I mean, shit. You can get those watches, you know. Day dates aren't like sought after like a Daytona. I mean, depends on which one. You get the olive green dial rose gold, you're going to have a little bit of a problem. Or the platinum ice blue dial, you probably have a little bit of an issue getting. But for the most part, you shouldn't have a problem getting a day date, and you shouldn't even worry about asking your AD. Just say, hey man, I love my Rolex, I still have it, and I'm really interested in a day date. Let them know which one you want, and hopefully they'll get it for you, and sooner than later. It shouldn't be too hard, man. All right, thanks for your question. This one comes from David Parrish. What's up, David? This is a question I meant to ask last week, but it got sidelined. How do you spring forward? Do you change just one watch or line up all of your watches? Might be a video idea for today. Cheers, my friend. Well, okay, so people that don't live in the United States or certain parts of the United States, we have what's called daylight savings time twice a year. Once we put the clocks, March, we put the clocks forward an hour, and then when it gets into the summertime, we pull them back an hour. It's stupid. There's no reason for it. A law passed, or whatever passed, that said they were going to abolish it. Sorry, and it just hasn't come to fruition, man. So you know, we just had it last weekend, so that would have been a perfect question for last weekend. But so people have asked me this, and it's weird. Do you just like get pissed off because you have to set all your watches an hour forward? And it's like, no, not at all. I mean, most of my watches are automatic, man. They all die anyway. Then I have to reset them anyway. So, you know, the watches that I'll wear, like for instance, I have 3 watches sitting here right now in front of me. 4 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 on my wrist. So I've got 4 total here, right? I'll set those if I'm gonna wear them, you know, and then, but they'll die, you know, if I don't wear them, it's gonna stop running, and then I'll have to reset it anyway. I've got my Swatch collection, you know, and the majority of those are all quartz, and if I decide to wear one, then I'll just change it as I wear it. It's not a big deal. So no, I don't set them all out and go, oh God, listen, I got to do this again. You know what I mean? It's not that big a deal. So thanks, dude. Appreciate your question, man. Tyrell M15. Hey, Tony, what do you think about the Reverso Duo Face Tribute? Have you thought about buying one? No. Out of the JLC line, the Reverso is probably my least favorite, actually. I mean, they're nice, but it's not something that I would spend the money on, you know, like 13, 14 grand just for a watch I probably wouldn't wear all that much, you know. So no, but I thank you for your question, man. Okay. This next one comes from 458V8. Great videos, Tony. Thanks, dude. I liked when you talked about how you adopted your cats and their personalities. Yes, we have Uku and we have Paco. And David Parrish had asked me a question how I got their names, and I didn't answer that in that question. I talked about everything, but I forgot to mention the names. I got Uku's name because she's got a very sort of dark. She's a tortoiseshell cat, but she's, you know, reminds me of like the oh my gosh, the wood, say for instance a ukulele. So I named her Uku based off of ukulele, not ukulele but ukulele. And then when I got Paco 3 years later, you should name him Lele. Well, that would be, hey Uku, hey Lele. No, I'm not that corny. I got Paco's name because when I first got him, I was watching Paco de Lucia, his famous flamenco player who had passed away. He's one of the greats. In fact, there's his picture print on my wall right there. And I had a video of his on one of his concerts, and I had a little pillow in front of the TV, and Paco was just crashed out and sleeping, and it was awesome. So I named Paco after Paco de Lucia. The funny thing is, this is while I was still fostering him, and then when I adopted him, I found out what his real chipped name, because he had a chipped name, and I didn't even know that. And it turns out his chipped name is Blues. So his real name is Blues, which is awesome, because if I'd have been watching Stevie Ray Vaughan and I name him Stevie after Stevie Ray Vaughan and find out his real name is Blues, I would have been like, oh my God, you know? So it's pretty cool though, either way. Anyway, the question is, can you wear a Rolex while golfing? Does that damage the movement? Rolex is a sport watch, but swinging at 100 miles plus, would that be detrimental to the internal mechanism? Thank you, Tony. No, dude, not at all. You can wear a Rolex golfing. It's nothing, Dad. When you say 100 miles per hour plus, your arm's not going 100 miles an hour plus, man, I can assure you. But the ball, once if you're on a driving range and you hit that ball, is going to, you know, hit over 100 miles per hour, but not your swing. So, and there's not that much of an impact. Yeah, I mean, you see golfers playing in Richard Milles and Rolex, you know what I mean? So I think you'd be fine. Anyway, I appreciate everyone. Thank you guys so much for your questions, and we'll catch you on the next one.